Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Kick a Ball podcast. I'm your host for today, Daniel Lang, and today we have a good friend of mine, Hayden Anderson. Tore it out last season with Greenville Triumph, earned a contract with the Richmond Kickers. He's out in Richmond right now. You see the beautiful stadium back. I forget, we were talking about it before. It's a triple, no, whatever. What's the stadium in the back?
It's the AA Flying Squirrels team that's affiliated with the San Francisco Giants.
Perfect. You heard it from there. Hayden, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Perfect. Just hanging around, Glad you got a good situation, another good situation that you're in, at least with Richmond. And gearing up for preseason. Like what's that like, new club, preseason again, your second professional season. What's this period like for you?
It's been good. It's been different moving around, moving to a whole new city that I've never been to. It's been great. Meeting so many different people and understanding how Richmond is, where Richmond's at, how historical everything is around here. And everybody knows who Richmond Kickers are. I feel like it's been around the longest professional team in America. So I think it's great. I love it. It's been nice for me so far. So
No, and that's something that I think just gives Richmond the character too, like you were saying. Like, I mean, we were talking about before, like, you tell someone that you play for the Kickers and it's like, oh, like I know that team. Like, I love going to those games. Like, what have those stories been? Have you met a couple of the fans around this area? What's it been like just being around this city? You mentioned it.
I haven't really met a fan yet, but I mean, there's people that since I got beer thrown at me, everyone knows who I am now, playing
Nice.
in Richmond, getting thrown. So people have messaged me saying, "Oh, welcome to the club. We're excited that you're scoring for our team now," and stuff like that. So I'm excited to finally play a game there, playing in red, not a different color anymore. I don't think they enjoyed us playing there and not not winning for them. So I'm excited to win games for Richmond and do what I need to do.
Oh, and I know there was a little bit of like there's been some history with you in Richmond before with your previous club with Greenville. I'm guessing it's all smoothed over now that you guys have signed.
Yeah,
You're gonna be nice.
yeah.
So Hayden, for what it's worth, I mean, I want to know every bit of your soccer story. So like I'm telling you, like the first memories that you have kicking a ball around, through your college experience. I know we got USC Upstate to Memphis to now the short, but what we're hoping for a long professional career for you. But what's your story look like for you now? I want to give you the space to tell me that now.
Okay, so I'm from Greenville, South Carolina. I grew up playing since I was 3 years old. I feel like everybody starts when they're young, and you enjoy it. Going through the ranks of academy, playing at Carolina Elite Soccer Academy, which is in Greenville, South Carolina. Then playing ECNO. There's no MLS Next Pro, which was called before Development Academy, so DA. There's nothing in South Carolina. So the highest league was Premier League for the longest until ECNO came along. So everybody played Premier, go to nationals and all that. So played that growing up. When I was like in the 8th grade, was on Premier. I played Challenge for a long time. And then sophomore year, junior year, I got brought up to the first team ECNL. Played ECNL when the first time ECNL was invented. Junior year and senior year, we did really well, undefeated in ECNL in the southeast region, which is like Florida, Virginia, which is all different now. Confusing, too many teams now. There was only like 10 teams when we played.
Right.
And then finally just end up getting a local contract, like not a contract, but a local scholarship to USC Upstate. I was happy with the coaches, loved the coaches there. I still talk to them to the day. I was going to go to a D2 school and ended up not accepting it. A coach came to my house. We had a great conversation with the coach, but I ended up not taking it and ended up playing for USC Upstate, which is a very small school. Probably 5,000 people go there. Public school, very cheap for me and my family, and then ended up working out well. And ended up starting after the third game at USC Upstate Division One, playing the Big South Conference. It was always good team, like very two good teams. Everybody knows High Point. Campbell was in the conference at the time, very good. Ended up playing 2.5 seasons there, and we had a great year. And I felt like it was just time for me to move on and move out of my city to get to my best. What I wanted to do is make it to professional contracts. I ended up transferring to Memphis, which helped me out a lot. Get away from my family, get away from the insurance I have my family around. I wanted to be on my own and enjoy how it's supposed to be as a college athlete, not living 30 minutes from home. So I ended up moving to Memphis. Great opportunity. Loved the coaches there. I still talk to them to today. We have a great relationship with them. Both seasons I went there, went to national tournament, ended up having a great 2 years there, scoring and assisting 15 something goals. And I ended up going to Greenville, and a local team that my old coach used to at Upstate. He was actually assistant coach at Greenville at the time. Ended up giving me a contract, and I ended up signing with Greenville after. And I had a great year at Greenville, scoring 5 goals and 1 assist, and I thought I had a good year. And then now we just transferred out to Richmond,
Very
so
nice.
starting here now.
So there's a couple things I think I want to touch on just a little bit with your journey though too. So, you know, obviously being able to get the opportunity in the Big South Conference with USC Upstate and already being visible at that Division 1 commitment, you there wasn't any MLS Academy or MLS Next area where you were able to go and showcase
Mhm.
yourself in that regard. And it's become more popular for those guys to be noticed, and that's sometimes where a lot of these colleges end up recruiting from. I mean,
Mhm.
what did your college recruitment process look like, and what kept you from being discouraged until USC Upstate comes out and they give you the ability to be able to go play on that soccer program?
Honestly, like you have the big schools around me. You have your Clemson, which is 45 minutes from my hometown. You have South Carolina, hour and a half, and I honestly just wanted to play freshman year. So be able to go to a school that I can play right away was the biggest key to me. I
Right,
didn't want to go to the big schools. I wanted to go to small schools because it's going to make me better as playing right away. I don't want to, like, I understand, yeah, oh, everybody wants to go to big schools. But for me, I personally want to go to smaller schools, help for me to grow, to learn, and connect better with my coaches who's helped me longer down the road than most coaches probably will, who I ended up transferring with. They still love me to the day. They wish me happy birthday. I still talk to them, help me out now. And it's like, that's the relationship I wanted, not a coach that's never going to talk to me again. So I feel
right,
like that was a big problem with me. And that helped me out a lot. And yeah, you don't have your DA, but ECNL was the top dog at a point until the next pro came along, which
right.
there's still no next pro in South Carolina. It's still all in Georgia or North Carolina. So it's crazy how all that really works. But it was definitely an issue. Just Division 1 was a hard part, but Upstate really came through for me, and it really was a great choice for what I did.
And so, with the support that you've been able to have from that program and then making the move to Memphis where you've been able to have a lot of success there playing on more in that right wing, but also being a center back now, at least we've seen just a little bit with you, at least in the program. And it was
Mhm.
more the same in college. Um, but you know, coming to the decision of having to take that step away out of your comfort zone, like you're saying, just moving away from your family, moving away from the program that you've had such a great attachment to that maybe you don't know the relationship that you have 5 or 6 years later, where I mean, you're not 5 or 6 years out of USC Upstate yet, but
Yeah, not yet.
like where that relationship would be like in a few years, but still being able to go ahead, have that support of making a transfer. What were those conversations like, and what ultimately led you to that decision to Memphis?
For me, I had a great relationship. So we talked for a long time. I was going to go in, help be a captain, vice captain at USC Upstate, and for me, it was just like I needed to challenge myself more to go to a different team to compete for a higher standard.
Hmm.
Yes, we competed at Big South, going to a final, losing in the final. Yes, we competed really well, but there was a point where I was getting too comfortable. Sometimes getting too comfortable doesn't help you succeed more down the road. And I was comfortable. I did it like I should have probably stayed and finished my 4 years, but I was comfortable. I wasn't gonna push myself to the next level that I could have done. So
Right.
leaving to go somewhere where three coaches didn't know who I was, where I came from, anything like that, getting out of my comfort zone, I think helped me mentally and physically down the road because now traveling. I just had to play one season with under two different coaches. Now moving another season playing under four more coaches.
Mhm.
That's adjusting to coaching styles and different ways I play. That's out of my comfort zone. I couldn't affect that. If I never moved, I wouldn't have been able to help move down the road now to a whole different team. And I think it just helped me out a lot down the road in challenging myself mentally.
So what would you say to this for a younger kid, who maybe is looking to make a similar move that you did, but has that hesitancy of not wanting to get out of the comfort zone? Maybe something that was a little bit easier for you to get around, but it's more of a block for, let's say, another player. What kind of advice would you give to that person?
For me, take the chance. You're gonna have people competing for your spot every day. There's people that want my spot right now. I have to compete. If I don't work hard and earn my spot, I'm gonna get it taken. My contract's gone. I'm done playing soccer. So if I'm not working every day to compete for the spot, what am I doing? You have to compete every day. There's always somebody competing for your spot. Doesn't matter if they're right there right now, 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road, they're going to be competing for your spot. You have to understand there's always going to be a challenge. But if you're too comfortable sometimes, you stop working hard. I think that's very simple. You have to work hard. If you're not going to work hard, there's no point for you to be there.
And so forcing yourself to get out of that comfort zone is what allows you to have that person in the back of your mind 3, 4, 5 years from now that's
Mhm.
coming for your contract, you're saying.
Yeah, like if I want to continue my career 10 years down the road, I have to keep working hard and competing. I want to make the next jump. Yeah, the next step is,
Yeah.
oh, let's go championship. Oh, let's not championship. I want to go MLS. I have to keep competing. If I don't work hard, if I get comfortable here, there's going to be a problem. I'm going to stop working hard. That's my issue. Like I have to keep working to go. I want to keep getting better for myself. Could like to exceed my limits and what I can make.
Yeah, no. So, when did you come to the realization? Because this isn't necessarily a mindset of a guy who's you know, going into his sophomore season with, yeah, or well, sophomore
Mhm.
is the wrong word, but his second season as a pro.
Yeah.
It's like a 6, 7 year veteran
Mhm.
type of idea. Like, how long did it take you to come to this mindset? Was it something that was foundational in your
I think for me was growing up and just having to you always have to compete at a spot playing in lower ranks at academy and me not making the first team and my own academy making like okay, it was premier challenge select, so I made challenge team.
Mm,
That really shook me when I didn't make top team anymore. That
right?
was like a big step for me. I was like, okay, now the challenge is get back to the first team. Okay, get back to the first team. Now the next step, make the college. Right, get to college. You're not starting the first 3 games. Okay, I need to take the seniors. I need to take the spot. Who's playing in my spot? Right? How do I do that? You have to work hard. That's kind of how I realized like I want to play. I hate okay. Everybody hates sitting on the bench. Everybody hates not making the squad. Everybody hates not traveling. Okay, what are you gonna do about it? You're not gonna work hard to do it. Like you have to do the work to take the spot. You can't just be giving it to you here. You can't just have it for you. You have to work hard to get the spot. So I feel like that was just kind of common sense for me, and it's kind of led me to like where I'm at and to where I need to be.
Okay. Yeah, no, and it's something that, yeah, it just comes so naturally just when you speak about it. I gotta like,
Yeah.
I, and this isn't something that, yeah, I mean, like you're saying, it's just something that has come naturally, and or well, no, as you've talked about, just it being something that's been a part of your soccer life. You know,
Mhm.
when when you have this part of yourself that's so committed to sport for such a long period of your time, like, where else does that really apply to the rest of your life? Like just staying driven to, that one thing, maybe with the day job or something else that someone else may have going on. Like, what would you say to the regular person with that?
For a regular person, I mean, it's any job. I feel like you can use that any job you want to go. Like, okay, I have this low tier office job that makes, I'll say 30,000 a year, but I want to be the COO. How do I get to his spot? Well, you got to be good at what you do. So that's be able to understanding how can you be better than what he's doing up there, right? He's probably have other technology. How can you improve what he's doing? How can you make what he's making better than what he's already doing? So that's kind of like you have to work hard to get the money you want. Everybody wants millions of dollars, but you have to work to get the money in every job. It doesn't matter where you're at, soccer, life. I feel like it's not most time is never given to you. You have to work to get to the spot where you want to be.
So now tell me about the switch into the professional game for you. You finish your college eligibility and you start looking for those opportunities, like, and Greenville was the one that ended up having you for that rookie campaign that you had.
Mhm.
Again, the 5 goals, 1 assist, being able to start about half the games as well as with good production.
Mhm.
Like, tell me about how that opportunity came up. Like, what's the try? I mean, were you on a trial? What the preseason process was like? Like, tell me about the journey of a kid who's first making his touch into the pro game.
For me, I didn't go on trial, so my assistant coach at USC Upstate happened to be the assistant coach at Greenville Triumph at the time, which
Right.
he's now at Creighton University. He ended up coming to me after I finished my college career, and me and him had a great relationship. Still talk to him to the day, and he really just said, "Here, I know what your work rate is. I know how you are. I know how you as a person. I want you on the team." Him and the coach had a falling out. Okay, me and the coach are fine. he ended up going to Creighton. I ended up still signing with Greenwood Triumph and started the preseason right away, signed with them, and I never really looked back. And I had a great season, I felt like. So it worked out good for me. I felt like I still have a good relationship with the coach there. So it worked out for me.
So you had the relationship already established with a coach that you had known for forever, but then
Mhm.
wasn't there for this past season, and then now you still have to prove yourself to your head coaches and the rest of the staff as well, the front office, to ultimately extend you that offer. Like, when your connection leaves a club like that as early as you are in this pro game, like, was there a time where you were thinking, oh geez, like, all right, there's a bit of a change, but let's adapt? Like, what was going through your mind at that point?
For me, yeah, it was very shocking. Like I wasn't very shocked what happened, and I just knew that I was still there for a reason. He still ended up agreeing to that. I had to adapt to what he was going to say to me. I had to adapt to whatever he was going to do, and you just have to adapt. I was supposed to be scared and not fall out with it. I had to still play the whole 10-month season. I can't just
Right.
kick back and say, "Oh shit, he's not there anymore." So what am I supposed to do? I have to be there, and he's my coach now. I have to agree what he's going to do, have to do what he needs to say, and work hard for him. Just at the end of the day, and if I'm not going to work hard for him just because he wasn't ever coached me, doesn't know who I am, that's kind of on me. I feel like.
Sure, yeah. It's like it almost is like it's almost a disservice to the coach if you were to go that route, and that's
Mhm.
not what happened at all.
Yeah.
So tell me about you really just through this first season. I mean, we've seen the production, we've seen some of, I mean, I really like, for someone who's able to play, in the back right, you've got a good
Yeah.
shot selection. I like your finishing ability,
Yeah.
but tell me about, navigating that first season, really, expounding on your strengths and solidifying yourself as someone that I think was one of the more impactful rookies this past year in USL one.
For me, I played right back, right wing back, pretty much Hall college, and then this year I ended up making the full transition to winger. So that was kind of what I needed to adapt to as a player, adapt to how I was going to play my style of play because being from right back sometimes straight to a winger, there's a lot more attacking opportunities, I'll say, than the right back. You don't really attack crazy. You don't go one on ones ever really with a fullback as a right back. So that's kind of what I had to adapt to, learning how to attack somebody one on one, learning sometimes I wasn't the best shooter. Yeah, I understand that, but I had to adapt, learn how to shoot, say after training, shoot after training, and adapt to being a true on winger or taking people on, learning how to combine, get behind the players, make defenses be terrified of me coming at them. And that was kind of how I had to learn a lot throughout the season. And now I'm going to the second year playing winger again. And I'm super excited because I feel like I've learned so much in 1 year that I never knew I was going to learn playing as a winger. And I feel like I'm excited for the new opportunity as a winger full time, learning, being a whole year now. I feel like I've learned so much taking people on and going at them.
So we can't get so much. I don't want to go so much into like the tactics of Richmond
Yeah,
because
yeah,
frankly,
yeah, I understand. I understand.
not only is it not my business, but I wouldn't want to be like throwing that out there on the media end. But with how they envision you being able to be an impactful role. I mean, they were able to bring back a lot of guys from this past
Mhm.
year, but also making the additions. The what's the right word that I'm trying to say? Like the very, very particular additions, and you being
Mhm.
one of them, they've obviously got a plan for you. Like, do you see yourself being able to continue to build on these strengths that you've seen and, be able, maybe it's taking a right wing back role where you're able to play that entire right side, or maybe it's being that winger, like you were talking about, how you've become more informed in that regard while also creating those shots. Like, what does it look like, you think, with, this new Richmond team and getting the gel together with these guys?
For me, I think it's gonna be. I can't, it's hard to say without
No
saying.
problem. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But just being a winger, and I understand how to be it. You'll see soon how it's gonna be. I think fans here are excited because they've seen me as a winger. They see me as an outside back, so it's kind of hard to say how they're gonna play because we haven't really gone over. I'll say that yet. How we really want to play out the back, how we really want to play this formation. It's all still working the preseason, so it's been hard to figure out. But I'm excited. I'm open to whatever the coach wants to do. I'm open to whatever how we're gonna play. So I'm excited to see how it kind of folds out throughout the season because it's gonna be a long season and hopefully it lasts too. trophy comes in the back of our hands.
I mean, and I don't think it's too far removed for this Richmond team. I mean, League One is just getting more crowded every year, it seems like. But this is Richmond has been one of those teams that has been able to compete for the long term. One of the oldest clubs in League One as well. I think one of the original members of League One as well. Actually, now that I'm saying that,
Hmm.
uh, but very huge. And you've got I think one of the you've got a fantastic head coach as well, Coach Darren Sawatsky. I mean, nominated for Coach of the Year this past year, one of the three finalists. And from the conversations that I've been able to have with him, a phenomenal person, really someone who looks after his players. What can you tell me about the relationship that you've built with him in your short time associated with Richmond so far?
For me and him, I think we've built a good relationship. We're still building till today. We talk every day. He's always asking you every day, how are you doing? It comes up 3 times. How are you doing? He wants to know how you're doing, wants to know your relationship, wants to know, understand. He wants to have that trust between you and him
Hmm.
that you guys are going to be good. He wants you to over communicate. Doesn't matter if he doesn't care. He wants to know because that's just the type of person he is. And I think it's a good relationship because some coaches don't care at all. It's fair enough. Like they don't care who you are as a person. They just want to win the games. They treat it as a business, and they want to win games. That keeps their job. So it's hard because that hurts you mentally. But I think he's going to make the relationship better and make us as players better. There's always one person that we learned. It was probably the best. It was like Jose Marino. Always talked to his players. Always wanted to communicate, help them out. Like that's just how it makes their players better on the field and makes their relationship. They make us want to fight for the coach more when they have a good relationship with us.
Perfect. I mean, I think that's going to be a huge part of the success with the club moving forward. You need that person in the helm in the locker room that sees you guys I mean, really at every practice train. I mean, it's
Mhm.
every day for you guys right now, I imagine, with
Yeah.
preseason coming. Like that's you need. I feel like from the outside perspective, and admittedly, this is me not having the college experience, the college soccer, Division One athlete background,
Yeah.
but from doing these interviews, I mean, it really just seems like a kind of coach like Darren is someone that absolutely leads to the success.
I agree because the city wants trophies. I tell you what, they're the best Pride fans in the League One, and they want a trophy back at home.
I mean, it's a huge goal, but again, like I was saying, I mean, this is a team that's built around that's really just had the team and a lot of just these guys all sorted out before, it didn't even run combines really this year, for, however, that wants to be taken by the viewer. But I mean, that's something that I think it shows really the kind of people, they again, very particular about the people that they were bringing back and the additions that they were bringing in. They've definitely got a plan to be able to make that run moving forward for that championship. I mean, I'll tell you that right now from the outside.
Yeah, I think you'll see something this year for sure.
Uh, so, so now tell me about a few. I mean, I'll make this a little open-ended, and I'll let you take this in whatever way you want to. But I want to know about some of the best memories that you've had playing soccer, whether it be in college or in the pro game this past season. Like, tell me what have been some of the highlights that you've been able really to have during your, long but hopefully longer soccer career to this point.
Oh, I have that's a hard one there. It's a lot of memories playing at. I mean, club obviously going to nationals. We went undefeated in ECNL. Made a great memory with all the guys there. Loved it. I mean, you can never go wrong with club soccer. Y'all have some good friends there. You play club soccer 5, 6 years with. I mean, college. Probably the first memory in college was my first ever season. We probably went 5-13 or something like that. It was terrible.
Hmm.
Hated it. Second season, we ended up going to the Big South Final and never forget that game. It's just like wish I always had it back. We ended up losing that game. It's just like one of those memories. It's like your worst one, but it's like I'm always gonna remember that because something happened that affected a lot. Because it could have went USC Upstate in the NCAA tournament for the first time ever and never seen it. No, nobody knows who the school is. Could have affected a lot of the program making that tournament. And just like, dang, I wish it could have had a bigger impact making that tournament for the coaches and that, and just for the program. I always wish for that game back. And it's like, that's one of the memories like, wow, that's kind of crazy. We were that close to making a national tournament with UC Upstate, who no one's really heard of unless you from Southeast, I think. Um, Next memory is obviously making the national tournament with Memphis my following year. and ever playing that ended up losing a slew. Good school, lost in overtime, historic season. They're always known for. Everybody knows who they are. That was the first memory of making the tournament, and then always next memory in college is like next year going again. Made the national tournament, first ever win in Memphis program history, winning the first ever national tournament game, hosting a national tournament game, first time ever in Memphis history, making more history going to the second round, end up losing to Chapel Hill. But those like memories making history at every team I kind of went to, and it's kind of like, wow, it's kind of crazy to keep doing stuff to help these college teams out. Like I'm excited for that. And it was been grateful for like opportunities coaches have given me to make memories that all of these people I met along the way. I don't know if in these a lot of sports can meet so many people around the world, and but I've been so excited to meet so many people from so many different countries, and it's been great meeting all those people. And then pro, I just feel like can't go wrong. First ever pro contract, was not to be excited for every game, excited for every practice. I was happy to play, just happy to be there, still playing the sport that I love since I was 3 years old. And I feel like that's still a memory, like first ever signing, like like my first ever pro contract. Like it was, who can't? I've always remember like my kids will know that. It's just kind of like, look, I played professional soccer, so
Yeah.
and be able to say that now I'm playing for my second year, I think it's just another memory. Like I'm excited to play another year. Like a lot of people don't get a chance. There's only so many people in the world who could say they played pro soccer, and I'm grateful to be able to say I'm one of those people.
And I mean, that as well on top of so many of the firsts in program history that you've been able to have too. I mean, what really sticks with me is, um, you know, first national tournament win in history and hosting a first national tournament game for that past season or for your last season at Memphis, which was 2 years
Mhm.
ago, roughly now. Um, I mean, was that something when you're on the cusp of something of a first like that, of a first experience
Mhm.
like that, is that something that you're made aware of, before the game to know what you're playing for, or is that kind of thing psych out the team? What does that look like?
We knew it was the first ever host. We didn't know it was the first ever win until after we won the game. I think our coach kind of kept that from us.
Right.
We knew the year before when we lost to SLU, we played away. That we still have, I think some of us knew we hadn't won a game yet, and then ended up. I think everybody just forgot. We had no idea we never won a game before in program history.
Mm.
So that was a big like first hosting it. Never seen so many people at a Memphis soccer game before. There's I don't know 30,000 people there, and it was insane. And
How many?
playing like 3,000 for a Memphis men's soccer game, which they only get like 100. And like
Right.
that was like crazy playing in front of all those people. Like everybody's behind the goal, screaming and yelling, and it was a great game. Like 2-1 SI for us playing against SIE, and it was just a good experience for us as a program. Helped the program achieve so much, and helped the program gain so much attention that it really needed because that's three great coaches that who everybody like they work so hard for that program, and I want all the best for them to end up getting a ring this year, which has never happened in program history. It was I'm grateful for them to ever win that. And it's like wow, they're building something, and I hope they build something else this year they can achieve for the first time ever. Like that's we still started that from the first time they made the national tournament. Now they ended up winning a ring 3 years later, so that's great. Like that just it's been changed so much since I gone there. So much people have gone in and out. So much change has gone through that locker room, and but they've set their what they want throughout the season, and they're great, like helped out so much, and they've helped me a lot. So
And and this is a team. I mean, I remember this was like it being 2 years. That was like the first year I started really doing some of the stuff that I know. I remember this game like the back of my hand because I know SIU's keeper at the time, he had a red card, so they were playing
he
down.
did.
They had to figure something out with that game. And other guy Brennan Creek, Laneca Rodriguez, who's now we just talked about with RSL.
Mhm.
Brennan, I think. Oh, I don't know what Brennan's up to. I know last year was Huntsville City.
Mhm.
Um, but I mean, a lot of talent on that roster as well.
Yeah, SIU has some good talent. They had Sam Gomez who was in goal. He was at Monterey Bay now.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Great keeper. So he ended up getting a red card that game. So yeah, I mean there's been talent on that field that we probably look back as like wow, there's a lot of talent on that field you probably wouldn't recognize.
Yeah, I'm curious to look back at the names actually. So I don't want to take the time now unless
Yeah.
unless we're really interested. But I mean, talent. I mean, two programs that like even at that point have had a lot of pro experience. And then there's another kid at Memphis now too, or well, he just left Memphis, but he played one. I don't know if it was 1 or 2 years at. I think just 1 year at Memphis, but Leighton Imperato, who I'm
Okay.
excited for to see what he's able to do in the pro environment after Oregon
Yeah.
State he gets transferred to.
Yeah.
Uh, but very, very cool. It says a lot about the Memphis program. So, I mean, tell me about what you wanted out of Memphis initially too. Like what attracted you to that program that maybe at the time when you first were there didn't have the success, all the accolades and all the success that we're seeing now, but still drew you into, this kind of program that was still building its rapport.
For me, it was going there. I flew me in. I met all the guys. A great time. The thing that drew me in the most was understanding that I'm gonna have a big role if I come. Like I want to have the role they were winning for, and I think I had that role. It's helping them achieve so much. I feel like I was there to help through everything that you don't really see. I probably wasn't the guy scoring out the goals and the guy getting assists, but I feel like I had a big impact to make it to where it is today. And that drew me in. I really want to impact the program the most as I can and help achieve a team the most. Like I wanted them to achieve as much as we can, make so many firsts. I want them to never forget those firsts that we achieved.
Right.
And they really sold me going there. And I was really excited for everything. I committed the next day after I came back home, and I was like, yeah, I want to go there. And I had a great time. And it just, yeah, I went there and I did what I do, just out of work because there was a guy in my spot.
Mm,
And he was there already. He didn't get a lot of minutes, but his chance was there to be taken. And I
yeah.
came in and just had to work hard and earn my spot right away. There was no can't wait, can't do all that. I have to go in and show why they recruited me to go there, why they were so high on me to come, why they wanted me to come. They flew me out. They spent all this money. That I had to show them why they wanted me to come.
Yeah.
And I thought that was I enjoyed every minute of it. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody knows Memphis is not always the best city, but I love Memphis. It always have a place in my heart. I loved all the people there.
Oh, so sick. And I mean, with where this journey has taken you regardless, I mean, what are you looking forward to most with this, this now Richmond season? I know we've talked a lot about it, but the fact that this is another team that wants to bring you in. You're continuing to give yourself these opportunities to, lengthen that professional career. And, from the sound of it, you've got no ambitions of stopping anytime soon. But what is the most exciting part about, you know, really just this upcoming season and continuing your career?
Um, to bring something to these fans, I think the fans here definitely deserve something. I think they've been itching for one. You can kind of tell on social media they're itching for something big to come, and I want to be here to do that for them. I want here to show them why I'm here. I don't want to let anybody down. Why I'm here. I want to show them why they brought me in. I want to show that I can do what they want me to do, and I want just for the fans. Really, they I think they owe a nice little star above the badge. So I think we need to try to shoot for that as much as we can. Work hard every day and get better.
Well, Hayden, I think that's a perfect place to leave off this interview. I really appreciate the time that you've been able to give me to talk about your career and all its successes and the hardships, but being able to get past every one of them. And again, now with a hopeful second year campaign with the Richmond Kickers, it's been a pleasure. But I'm all out of my questions, but I want to leave it open for you in case you've got anything else that you want to add to put out there on this interview. But thank you again, my man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate the interview.
All right, perfect. Enjoy your rest of your day, man.
Thank you.